All right. You guys, how are we looking now? Do we have any sound for you now? Guys, not about the modem. Are you getting sound now? Nope. How about now? You guys have sound? Well, you got to let me know because I'm not seeing it on this end, and I've got. Do we have sound now, guys? Well, we're going to try to get this again for you guys, but still trying to make this work. And I don't know where in the world we are trying to diagnose this for you. So bear with me. We think we might have it. Not sure. But let's try to make this sound problem work again. Let's see. We can make this work. All right. Sound is good, I'm being told. Awesome, guys. Thank you. Yeah, this we changed, just so you know what's going on, and I'll start over. I was pretty much trying to diagnose sound. Hey guys, we changed the way we were getting up on a YouTube, linking on a YouTube, because we're having all those buffering problems. And this appears to have fixed the problem, but for some dumb reason, it screwed the mics all up. So I had to just restart the whole thing. Just do me a favor, guys. Keep me thanks. Love the t-shirt, Linda. Do me a favor, guys. Just keep me posted on the sound and the video quality. I'm noticing our video quality looks a little bit more high def than I'd like, and it's a little choppy, but we'll fix that for tomorrow. I don't want to mess with it today. All right. Something epic. Hey, Australia. Something epic happened yesterday. I don't know if you guys were watching the White House press briefing, but John Gizzi, a White House correspondent, one of the guys in the press corps, asked Press Secretary Sarah Huckabee Sanders if she had any information on the president's meeting. Georgia, Ireland, Nagasaki, Australia, New Zealand. You guys are awesome. So John Gizzi asked Sarah Huckabee Sanders if she had any information on the meeting between President Trump and Rand Paul, where Rand Paul was going to discuss revoking John Brennan, former CIA director under Obama's security clearance. And Sarah Huckabee Sanders kind of stunned the crowd when she said, well, the president's not only thinking about suspending John Brennan's security clearance, president is considering suspending the security clearances of Clapper, Comey, McCabe, Michael Hayden, and Susan Rice, in addition to John Brennan. Hello from Finland. So so Sarah Huckabee Sanders blows everybody away. She says it's going to suspend the security clearances of potentially 6 Obama administration employees, and appointees. Manchester, England, how you doing? And the course, predictably, the liberal press corps goes nuts. Oh, isn't this the president punishing his political allies? How can he do that? Well, number one, and by the way, Blade, not the rebel, telling people to wait on a dead stream when the new stream was up. That was me trying to diagnose the problem, not realizing that YouTube was going to put up a second unique stream. So that was me and me alone that told you to do that. So the press corps goes nuts, right? The liberal press corps. Oh, the president's punishing people. The president's punishing Obama people. But the dumbest commentary on this, the absolute dumbest, came from Jennifer Rubin over at the Washington Post, that fake conservative. We have Norwich, England in the house. We have Scotland in the house. Awesome. She did this entire moronic piece in the Washington Post in which she claims, and I love how liberals like Jennifer Rubin masquerade as conservatives, but even better, how they make these insane leaps She argued, if you didn't see her piece of the Washington Post from yesterday, that by removing the security, and I feel dumber for having read Rubin's piece, by removing their security clearances, revoking their security clearances, Donald Trump is somehow infringing on their First Amendment rights. It is the dumbest argument I've ever heard. Now, all of a sudden, a security clearance is constitutionally guaranteed and protected. Oh, and by the way, you don't have First Amendment rights, but for your security clearance. Now, it sure seemed to me, I don't know Jennifer Rubin's motivations, stupidity, or maybe it's more sinister. Maybe some of these people were her and the Washington Post's anonymous sources and the New York Times anonymous sources. And without those security clearances, without that access, they can no longer be effective as anonymous sources. Frederick Pace from New York State, my old home state. How's it going up there? Is Cuomo driving you guys too nuts? Melbourne, Australia. Hey, Melbourne, thanks for watching. Now, Yuri on the Edge says, President can revoke anyone's security clearance. He's their boss, theoretically. No, not theoretically. He's their boss. You're dead spot on right on point one, and you're being too mild on point two. I said Melbourne wrong. Is it Melbourne? Now, am I saying it right? Maria Diaz from Sydney, Australia. A lot of Australia. We've got Birmingham. We've got Telford, UK. This is awesome. Love hearing from you guys. And remember, right under where it says Rebel Media in yellow, you can do a super chat. You can donate. And I'll talk about you as if you're the smartest person in the world. Far smarter than Jennifer Rubin from the Washington Post. Jason Turner says, haha, I had a security clearance, but it was never guaranteed. Oh, exactly. And I saw these other morons out there making an argument that when you're at the level of John Brennan, you have a security clearance for life. Even active duty CIA people have their clearances reviewed. Active duty FBI people, active duty DEA people, military people. Your clearances are reviewed. Drew Reisers from Toronto, Canada. Hi, Drew. Another from Manchester. Now, the hysteria, I believe, I don't know, but I believe by the mainstream media is because these people, Comey, Clapper, Brennan, McCabe, Hayden, Rice, and I'm sure others, these were some of those well-placed anonymous sources close to the investigation, anonymous sources close to the administration, anonymous sources, blah, blah, blah. Oregon, USA. It's early in Oregon. It's like 4:45 a.m. Matthew, thanks for watching. Well, Evil Bastard said, if you have a security clearance, you aren't supposed to tell random people on the internet that you have one. Dumb. Nah, you could tell people you have a security clearance. There's nothing, you're not prohibited from telling people you have a clearance. In other words, somebody doesn't have a clearance to know you have a clearance. For example, everybody who works in the FBI has a top secret clearance as an agent. So if somebody goes on television as an FBI agent, or you see a bunch of guys in windbreakers at a crime scene that say FBI, you know that each of them has a top secret clearance. Now it's, Jason Turner, exactly, he says, I've seen people have their clearances revoked simply because they have bad credit. It's actually the number one reason clearances are revoked. They can be revoked for any reason. Jack McCluskey from Scotland. How are you, Jack? Good morning, Vered from California. Rebecca from Vegas. Darkson likes my t-shirt. Thanks. Yeah, I love these Triumph t-shirts. Looking at a retro Triumph right now. But this is ridiculous. This notion that security clearances are for life and you can never lose them. And Edinburgh, Scotland. Wow. Nottingham, UK, London. Demon Gza from London. Send Sadiq Khan my regards. And on second thought, don't. He is the Bill de Blasio of Europe. But the notion that you have a security clearance for life and John Brennan is somehow entitled to his clearance and all these people. This is so dumb. I don't even know where to begin. Cat of the Year says, I like your setup. Thanks. We got to get this video perfected now that we're streaming direct from YouTube. We're not having the buffering problems because we're not going through a middleman, but I don't like this choppiness. It's not a good and accurate representation of the way I want this show to look. So we'll get that worked out for you. Isle of Skye, Paul. Awesome. Lee Blackburn says, don't mention the K word to a Cockney. I'm guessing you mean Sadiq Khan. Anyway, Oh, Paul Dick says, my dad has to take a polygraph, among other things, every year or so because of the security clearance he has. Yeah, not unique to only our third-party application. And, yeah, I mean, look, if you have a security clearance, I've got, like I said, I've got a good friend who's a senior federal agent. When he moved from one home to another, and the guy literally moved around the corner. He was my neighbor, and he moved, geez, it's got to be a 4-block walk. I mean, it's literally around this little lake we have in the neighborhood. And he had to go in and answer, some additional questions and just to keep his clearance in check. They don't mess around with security clearances. It isn't something that they take very lightly, This is some pretty sensitive stuff. So I don't know. I don't know why there's this mass hysteria, but I would love to see what happens when Trump does, in fact, pull these clearances. I want to try to get some clarity today on whether or not it was a bluff or whether or not he's seriously considering pulling the clearances. Now, Demon Gaza says your clearance got taken when you retired. That is unique to the agency, the nation, because I do know that friends of mine who leave federal law enforcement, for example, they get 5 years from the time their clearance was last renewed. So their clearance was renewed a year before they left. They're going to keep it for 4 years. And they can do some consulting on the outside, things of that nature. And I notice our quality is not necessarily any better right now doing this direct from YouTube. So if this doesn't get better, I might just go back to the old way tomorrow and we'll test both of them. But it's somebody's telling me, hello, it's not working. It's working. It's just I don't love the quality I'm seeing here on the stream. Again, we've been having now it'd look a little bit better. As far as I can see, it seems to look a little better. We're a little clearer. But yeah, they don't mess around with clearances. And then there's these ludicrous assertions. Jason Turner's right. It's usually 5 years, but for lower clearances up to 10 years. I know secret goes longer than top secret, then depending if you're an SCI with your TS. But point being, we don't need to get into the minutia if it's 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. Jason, you're right. It's something that eventually goes away. It's not lifetime. And it's something that if you mess up, you're going to lose. And if you're out there leaking, Meditech is right. You can get jobs having a clearance. Oh, yeah, really well-paying jobs. And if you're out there leaking, if you're out there politicizing your clearance, but worse, if you're out there lying, if you're John Brennan, the former director of the CIA, and you're out there lying upon lying upon lying about the president colluding with Russia and the president engaging in crime and the president doing this, that, and the other thing, you don't deserve your clearance. You don't deserve a clearance. You don't deserve it. And somebody's asked me if there's any new info on Tommy Robinson. Check Ezra's feed. Quite frankly, that's his story. He's in Canada. He's been over in the UK with Tommy. I'm trying to handle the US stories. Ezra's really doing a great job on that, leading on it. And somebody's saying they have no picture, just a green background. I would refresh. I've got the show open in a browser here in addition to my interface, and it looks good to me. Let's see. Matthew Hoffman says, I was told by Portland police yesterday to take down my Trump and American flag because it's distractive to other drivers. Really? Really? Can you reach out to me and let me know? You can either Twitter DM me or email me here at The Rebel. Let me know where exactly that happened. I'd like to reach out to the Portland police and get some clarity on that. Well, Goldclaw 837 says John Brennan is a communist Muslim. Well, we know he voted for a communist back in 1976 at the height of the Cold War when Russia was winning. We know that. Good to hear it's perfectly clear, the show in the UK. Yeah, Paul Coucher says Portland is run by libtards. Awesome. But, yeah, I mean, so anyway, back to the topic at hand. This whole notion that these people are allowed to use these clearances to go out there to leak, to smear the administration is ridiculous. But I'll take it a step further. What John Brennan is doing now is seditious. John Brennan should be hauled before the House committee and the Senate committee. Now, Bob Goodlatte, the chairman of Senate Judiciary, said as much. He wants Brennan before that committee. He will subpoena Brennan to testify before that committee. JC is saying the president deserves loyalty from his staff. If they cannot be loyal, then the hell with their clearance. Hey, look, these people aren't even the president's staff. Brennan, Obama guy. Comey, an Obama guy that Trump fired. McCabe, an Obama loyalist, a Hillary loyalist. Michael Hayden was a Bush guy. Susan Rice, an Obama person. James Clapper, an Obama person. So these aren't Trump's people. These aren't Trump's people. John Zealand, yeah, that's exactly right. Ezra said he'll be heading back to the UK as soon as he gets the word from Tommy's lawyers about the day of the court decision. And that really is the update. That's really the update. Yeah, look, David May asks, should we trust Jeff Sessions? No, I think Jeff Sessions is useless. And I think all those conspiracy theories, trust the plan, Sessions, the silent assassin. Well, finally, I hope they're all debunked. I hope this QAnon nonsense is seen for what it is. A character on the internet who knows nothing because everything was fake. Yes, David May is asking me, is Q fake? Yes. You saw the FISA warrant application. Renewals came while Jeff Sessions was the attorney general. Rod Rosenstein plays Jeff Sessions like a cheap banjo. Josh Carlin, would your country be in a better situation if a woman had the helm? I think our country's in a great situation. Trump is doing an amazing job. An amazing job. Yeah. Meditech says Q is just fun to think about entertainment. Yes, Q is fake. To all those saying Q isn't fake, yes, Q is fake. If you look at what Q reports and you go back 4 days, you can find it pieced together from other reports. Has been dead wrong about everything. Dead wrong about everything. The FISA application proves that all of these conspiracy theorists telling you trust the plan and Sessions the silent assassin and Mueller is a white hat and all these things are going on behind the scenes. They don't know how things work. They've never worked inside the process. QAnon is not some super secret government agent. Okay, it's like a guy on his mom's couch laughing that people are actually listening to the nonsense he pieces together from open source material. That's it. Look, I don't, here's the thing. People are asking, would it be better if there was a woman, if there was what? I don't care who's in power. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. I don't care if they're white, black, Hispanic, Asian, purple. Just be tough and do a good job. If you're the president of the United States of America, put America first. If you're the president of Canada, put Canada first. Put business first. Put people first. 4chan, Q comes from 4chan or Reddit or what. I don't even care with their 297 D chess. I think they're all children. So I literally think they're like kids on their mom's couch. But look, if you're going to lead any nation, lead from the front. Don't be Obama. Don't be Trudeau. Don't be the world's doormats. Don't be Merkel, who floods your country with Muslim migrants, with illegals. Putting your own. We know the guy's name is Faisal Hussein. They hid that name for quite a while for obvious reasons. But they're already starting with the mental health narrative. His family is saying he had mental problems, medication help. Look, I don't know what happened. And I'm not sure we're going to get accurate information in Trudeau's Canada on the real motives. But I will say that it's pretty peculiar to me. The guy's name was Faisal Hussein. Pretty peculiar. Copa de Sano says, what does skin color have to do with whether one can lead a country? Nothing. Obama was a disaster because he was a weak disaster. Had nothing to do with his race. He was horrible. Trudeau is the whitest guy in the world. He's a disaster. Merkel is white. She's a disaster. So Paul Dick, BMW R. I had an R1200 RT. Do you have the RT1200 or the R1200 RT? Because I got rid of my R1200 RT. Also had a Street Glide that I sold because it was too hot and I wasn't riding much in Florida. Harley Street Glide, but I'm probably picking up another Harley. Suzuki GS 750 is a fast bike. Jeff Jones, nice bike. Look, no, race, gender, doesn't really matter to me. Be effective. Put your people first. Cat Boys is leaving. See you later, Cat. Enjoy your day. That is, J-Vlog says one of the reasons he and his wife moved to Japan, that's a pretty strict place to live, no? Is America superior because of its First Amendment? I think America is a model for the world because of our Bill of Rights. You know, I think that's what makes America as strong as it is. Unfortunately, liberals want to infringe on that as well. They'd love to do all they can to erode that. So, I don't know how that's going to play for them in the midterms. I don't think very, very well. Anyway, Demon Gaza, I got to disagree with you there. I think America is superior in many, many ways. Cruzador says people should stop focusing on race and ethnicity to run the country. No one does. No one does. In fact, Barack Obama was the only one who brought race into that equation. He set race relations in the U.S. back about 50 years. The J-Vlog. Interesting. All right, so are you originally Canadian? And if so, what is it like living in Japan? What's it like living there for 7 years as a Westerner? Very, very curious if you could share with us. Let's see. I'm going to go to some of your questions now because the comments are coming in fast and furiously. Too many Trump threats and no action. He's paving the way for a Hillary victory. I have to fundamentally disagree with you there. Trump is taking more action than anybody else. And America has a Second Amendment in our two city use. It's got to be a troll post. I think you are either that or you are woefully misinformed on Trump's successes. Glenn Ward asks, do I think the Russia story helps Trump or hurts Trump? I think now it helps him. I think that Trump voters and those independents who care, who are economic voters, are looking at this. They know it's a hoax. It's actually a really good question, Glenn. They know it's a hoax after the FISA release, and they realize that it's now the only narrative the Democrats have because they don't have a platform. And so I think now it hurts Trump. And if the Democrats continue down this path, they're going to be doing themselves a great, great disservice in the midterms. I hope they do. Evil Bastards, also a comment I agree with. He says, Comey was right in that if the Democrats keep sliding left, they're going to lose in 2020. Look, the Democrats I love what they're doing. They're making the grossest miscalculation in political history by calling people like Ocasio-Cortez the future of the party. You've got Keith Ellison, the number 2 man over at the Democratic National Committee, Tom Perez, number 1, both radical guys. Keith Ellison embracing people like Louis Farrakhan, talking about how they love socialism and they love all of these radically far left ideas and abolishing ICE. These things are not resonating with America. They are not resonating with the American people. Not at all. And I think the Democrats keep this up, their party is going to disintegrate. You can see they're having a civil war in their party right now. You've got guys like Joe Lieberman, who was Al Gore's running mate back in 2000. They're saying, hey, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is not the future. Get away from her. Even James Comey is telling Democrats, don't move towards socialism. They're not listening. Joseph Linnett says Trump has done more in the first 6 months of his presidency than the last 5 or 6 presidents did in their entire terms. I got to agree with you. I've got to agree with you. Josh Carlin asked my take on Edward Snowden. I thought he was a whistleblower, then he became a traitor when he ran to China and Russia. Matthew Hoffman makes an interesting comment. He says, the more the left shows how bad it is, the more people are coming to the right. It's true. Because you've got, look, elections in the United States have long been decided by like 4 to 7% of the country, right? And that 4 to 7% was, for the most part, economic voters. They weren't political ideologues. They weren't firebrand voters. Look, you're not going to find a more Second Amendment-centric guy than me. But Second Amendment, in terms of importance to voters, typically polls around, at best, like 6%. like 6%. The U.S. needs to allow the House. All right, Pug Mahor, let me dispel a myth for you. The U.S. needs to allow the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence to have top secret security clearance. This would stop the redaction issues. Now, they do have it. They're allowed to view unredacted versions of materials, as is the Judiciary Committee. The public isn't. So when you see a redacted version, that's the version that can be released to the public. The HPSCI, the Senate Select Committee on Intelligence, SSCI, Judiciary Oversight, they have clearances. They can see the unredacted versions behind closed doors or in SCIFs, sensitive compartmented information facilities. When you're seeing a redacted version, it's for us. It's Republic consumption. Alex Freedom says you used to be center, but now center is right. So LOL. Yeah, it is. Because left is like falls off San Francisco. The J-Vlog, in Canada, we pay 30, 40% taxes. In Japan, you pay 8%. For healthcare, you pay 30%. The government pays 70%. I get that. But what's it like to live there? Is it restrictive? Are there things you can't do as a Westerner that ethnic Japanese birthright citizens can do? Demon Gaza, no, you cannot get unredacted versions of the FISA application. Thanks for the offer, though. And those that were up that people claimed were unredacted were not accurate. Let's see. I got to go back through my, wow, you guys are really fast and furious to comments. All right, this is a good one. Red Sox. Dems will ultimately turn to celebrities to lead their charge for 2020. Then everybody candidates will try to rely on people they think are popular. Yeah, maybe. But Elizabeth Warren is their big front runner. So I half agree with you. I think what they're going to do is they're going to have celebrities rally around the Liz Warrens and the Ocasio-Cortezes. Now, here's what's interesting in this New York 14, the Congressional District 14 in New York race. Okay, Demon Gazav, you have the unredacted. If you have unredacted accurate versions of the FISA applications, you're a multimillionaire. You're a multimillionaire. Every outlet in the world will buy them from you. So I suggest you go try to sell them. But I think what the Democrats are going to do is they're going to throw celebrities behind these people. The Elizabeth Warrens, the Ocasio-Cortezes. But like I was saying, the interesting thing about Ocasio-Cortez's district, New York 14, is that in New York, so Joseph Crowley's the incumbent Democrat. She beat him in the primary. Terrible turnout. He didn't really campaign. But in New York, he's now allowed to run on the same ticket in the general with another party. So he's running with the Working Families Party. So in light of Ocasio-Cortez's recent dumb comments and her showing she has zero command of the issues and of anything, really, Crowley will probably win running second party, third party. Because I'll even call it second party because there's no real Republican challenger in this race. Let's say there are two restrictions in Japan. Renting an apartment, the owner of vets can say no foreigners and you can't vote. So number two is pretty much like everywhere in the world. And number one, they are allowed to discriminate if you're not Japanese. Otherwise, very, very interesting. Cool. Let's see. I'm living in Japan now. Pug Malone says, if you step out of line, you're likely to be put on a plane. Example, get into a brawl. Very much a beehive society. Interesting. But you know what? Not the worst policy. I kind of agree with it. Maybe we should, maybe we should be doing more of that in the U.S. and Canada, huh? Maybe we should be taking care of our people like the Japanese take care of theirs. But look, the people, what do I think? Yes. Well, look, hold on. Let me go back. Robert Kajek says, because celebrities helped Hillary so much. I said it was their strategy. I'm going to say it was going to work. What they can do it doesn't mean it's going to be successful. Trump will win in 2020, barring him dropping out or, he's 72 years old, his health being compromised. I think Trump sails to victory. But let me put something in perspective for you. Donald Trump, ready for this, is 1 year older than Jeff Sessions. Trump is 72, Sessions is 71. Donald Trump could run a marathon around Jeff Sessions twice a day. So Laura Fisher says, one-term president, smartest move yet. Nah, I don't think so. I originally thought he might do that. I really did. But now I think he's winning, and he's not going to want to stop the progress. I think he sees how disastrous the Democratic agenda will be to this country, and I don't think he's going to let them take the reins. I don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening. Let's see. We need the 2 terms. Frigama Bunta says yes. Kevin S says, love the picture behind me. Yeah. This is The Forgotten Man. It was actually given to me. Interesting story. It's a print, nothing special, but it was given to me by my old neighbor, who was an older Cuban guy. He's like 85 years old, and he was a member of Task Force 2506, which was the Bay of Pigs insurgents. Fascinating stories about how he tried to fight Castro and the communists. I used to sit over at his house and listen to him for hours, have a drink. And then when I moved a few years back, he gave me that picture, asked me to hang it in the studio, and I did. And so that's the story behind that. Matthew Hoffman says, has anyone noticed how Portland, Oregon has had more riots than anywhere else? Please correct me if I'm wrong. Well, I don't know if they've had more, but they certainly have a lot. And I would have to agree with you. I think I know where you're going. It has to do with their very liberal governance and their embracing of groups like Antifa. Life is Simple says, funny how the left hated all Confederate statues after Trump was elected. Yeah. Statues that have been around 150 years. They all of a sudden were the most offensive things ever. I know, it was ridiculous. Goran Man is saying YouTube's really got our feed messed up. You just got to do a refresh. Yeah, we've been having problems. It's, look, let's face it. We know that these social media companies are leftist. We know that they don't love conservative content. What are you going to do? You got to keep putting out your content and getting the word out there. That's what you got to do. Raven Blood D says, life has been good for us since Trump got elected. Yeah, and getting better every day. Trump, Cromwell 13,649. Trump looking after his own countrymen first is called patriotism. Liberals and Dems see it otherwise. Outsiders come first in their eyes. That's true. That's true. Steve Rosen says, Sessions probably blackmailed or threatened. Seemed like a good guy for years and now a bad guy. Something came up. I don't think he's a bad guy. I just think that Sessions never thought the job was going to be this, that it was going to be this controversial, this contentious, this adversarial. I think he's tired. I think the guy doesn't want to fight. I think he's deferred to Rosenstein. A Gentleman's Journey says, thoughts on soy boy Justin Trudeau. Yeah, I hope for you guys' sake that he is not your prime minister much longer. Do I like the first lady? Life is Simple. Yeah, she's a nice lady. I don't think much about her. I've never been one that cares much about the families of politicians. I didn't care much about Michelle Obama. I don't care much about Melania Trump. She seems like a nice woman. She doesn't run the country, so God bless her. Turbo Jones, donation. Thanks, Turbo. Very generous of you. We appreciate it. CNBC says Russia hacked Ukraine power grid twice. Is Trump being nice to Russia because our grid is vulnerable? Trump isn't being nice to Russia. See, that's what the mainstream media is reporting. But go back to February. We killed in airstrikes in Syria about 200 to 300 Russian mercenaries. We took their ground troops out. So when Trump went to Helsinki and he was cordial to Putin, he went to Helsinki and was cordial to Putin, predicated upon the fact that a few months earlier, we were whacking Russians on the ground in Syria left and right. By the way, we had 40 special operations guys up against 300 Russian mercenaries with a couple of our combat controllers. We killed 200 to 300 of those Russian mercenaries. We didn't lose a single man. We didn't even suffer an injury. The gloves are off. So Trump isn't being nice to Putin, Turbo, but a great question otherwise. Let's see. Who said, there was something about tax break. Corrupt UK government. Dems are suing Republicans because of the tax breaks. Yeah, good luck. Good luck, Demis. No collusion, cooperation is more like it. No, I don't think Trump cooperated with the Russians to win the election. Roy Lopez, what about Ted Cruz to replace Sessions? Nah. I would send Ted Cruz to the Supreme Court or leave him in the Senate. David Goliath says, I hope Hillary runs again. I miss the entertainment she brought in 2016. Yeah, well, she's giving us that entertainment every day. She will not go away. Greg S. says, I bought a Confederate flag in New York last weekend. It'll be a collector's item soon. Look, I don't know why people get so hysterical over the Confederate flag. It's a piece of history. You don't have to agree with the intent behind it. So having historical items doesn't mean you agree with the intent behind the creation of those. For the more politically correct version. Let's see. There's a good comment here. Robinson Mason, media is itching to report Manafort guilty. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you are right. Let's see. Thank God for Trump making our military great again. He really has. It's not just building up troop strength. It's not just getting money appropriated to strengthen the military, to grow it, to enhance it. It's about morale. They have their morale back. Obama crushed their morale. Evil bastards, right. Trump sent arms to Ukraine to help them defend against Russian invasion. And I would venture a guess our special operators are there training them now. Pug Mahone is right. Trump is building a relationship with Putin. If you don't have a friend, then you have a potential enemy. Very basic principles, people. And Trump has clearly called him a competitor. A competitor. Because he is a competitor. A competitor wants to beat you. A competitor wants you to lose. A competitor wants you out of the game. It's a great way to put it. It's a great way to put it. Cromwell 13649 says Hillary colluded with Russians. Probably. I don't know. There's a big payment to the Clinton Foundation of $150 million. Seems like more than probably to me. G. Gottspa says Trey Gowdy to replace Sessions. God, no. Trey Gowdy is all bark and no bite. He's a big establishment guy who sounds good, so we use his sound bites and cheer him on. But in terms of action, no. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Jen Johnson says, why doesn't anyone ever talk about statistics for illegal aliens? It's bad. What do you mean? Crime stats? Actually, in the grand scheme, it's not. It's about in line with the rest of the population. But that's too many because they shouldn't be here. Jeff Jones says, we Brits love our friends across the pond. Good. We love you Brits as well. My allergies are still really bad today, guys, so excuse me. Terrible that I have to do that for you, but trying to fight through this. Judge Janine Pirro for Attorney General. Now, that's one I can get behind. I also like Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi. She's tough. She's good. Noel, Russell paid over the $400 million. I think you're talking about that comment Putin made that Bill Browder illegally earned $1.5 billion and sent $400 million to Hillary. And not able to confirm that yet, but it was interesting. Let's see. Cromwell says, I'm a Brit and I support everything Trump does because what happens in the U.S. affects the rest of the world. It's true. That is very true, very accurate statement. Cuckoo K69 says, Judge Judy for Ginsburg replacement. Judge Judy, huh? Doc Steven is telling me I'm so wrong about Trey Gowdy, except that I'm not. Trey Gowdy is like this with Lindsey Graham. He's like this with Marco Rubio. Trey Gowdy is all bark and no bite. Remember the Benghazi hearings? What came of those? Trey Gowdy made a lot of noise to Hillary Clinton. Put her on the carpet. We cheered him on. Hillary never faced 1 second of punishment over Benghazi. None. Once Trump, Greg S. says, is finished fixing the U.S., perhaps he can fix Canada. We need a strong conservative leader. I think he's got his hands full here. David Goliath says, I was in the Navy under Obama. You're right. He killed morale by cutting our pay and kicking out good guys with 14 years in because he couldn't pay everyone. Thank you very much for your service. Yeah. I think the way Obama hurt the morale of military and law enforcement was tragic. Absolutely tragic. Evil Bastard says that wasn't Gowdy's fault, man. Obama ordered the attorney general to stop prosecutions and block all investigation. Gowdy doesn't work for the attorney general. Gowdy worked for Congress. Congress is a separate branch. Congress could have issued resolutions and statements. Congress could have moved to impeach Loretta Lynch and Eric Holder. Congress could have moved to impeach other officials because of their behavior during Benghazi. They didn't. Trey Gowdy led that committee. Please, spare me. The guy's all bark and no bite. His sound bites are good, but when it comes time to get things done, he doesn't get them done. He needs to go to the private sector. He needs to go to the private sector. And that comment was from Evil Bastard. You and I normally agree, but not on Trey Gowdy. Look, I love that he beats people up. I love using those sound bites. I love it. I'll keep using them. But the guy's not a man of action. Let's see what else we got. Obama hurt the whole country, Shelley Bayless says. I agree, Shelley. Roy Lopez says, wasn't Gowdy bashing Trump about the Russia summit? He's not Trump 100% supporter. Look, I don't need anybody to be a 100% supporter of anybody. But yeah, Gowdy is often at odd ends with Trump. And if you notice, he's in lockstep with Marco Rubio, somebody I know that I've known for about 11 years, somebody I'm very, very disappointed with. Maybe 12 years, very disappointed with. Evil Bastard said you can't impeach if you don't have the votes for impeachment. You could draw up articles of impeachment, my friend. The Dems do it every day to Trump. They do something. And why didn't we have the votes? Why? We controlled the House of Representatives. It's just that at the time, Speaker John Boehner was head over heels in love with Barack Obama, as was Paul Ryan after him. So we had the votes. The Republicans controlled the House. Remember, impeachment is a two-step process. You're impeached in the House, and then you go to trial for removal in the Senate. That never would have happened because Dems at the time controlled the Senate. But we had the votes for impeachment in the House, much like we did with Bill Clinton, and we impeached him. So Evil, with respect, you're wrong on this one, my friend. Let's see what else we got. Steve Rosen wants Hillary sentenced for 5 years to help out Martha Stewart. Well, I think the statute of limitations on that has long expired. From Taiwan, we love President Trump. He's the best ever to lead America. Wow, thanks for watching from Taiwan. Life is simple. Would I bring Jordan B. Peterson for a political talk on my show? I would love to, but Jordan is very booked these days. I've reached out many times. He's in high demand. Jim Jordan, Cromwell says Jim Jordan and Matt Gaetz will push till Hillary Clinton gets impeached, as will Mark Meadows. And I'm a big fan of Jordan, Gaetz, Meadows, all those guys. Big fan. As a matter of fact, I backed Matt Gaetz' first political run when he was running as a state representative in Florida. He was hardcore then. He's hardcore now. He's the real deal. Good guy. Good guy, that Matt Gaetz. Let's see what else we got. Let's see. You need a 2/3 vote for impeachment. We would have had it if we had a strong Speaker of the House, a strong majority leader, a strong whip, but we didn't. That's what they do. They whip votes. The way the Speaker of the House works is you're voting with us on impeachment, and if you don't, your bills will never see the light of day. Your district will never get one red cent. But John Boehner and Paul Ryan are not those guys. They're establishment hacks who want to be conciliatory to Democrats. Let's see. Trump should get the Nobel Peace Prize, but several members of the committee would rather have massive global thermonuclear war. They would just never give it to him. Obama got it for getting up one morning and brushing his teeth. Pug Mahone says it seems to me that Congress are ineffectual and I've never seen any action. Yeah, well, that's why their approval ratings are like at 3%. You know, they are ineffective. America's done with them. America is done with them. Meadows is excellent, Steve Rosen says. Yeah, Mark Meadows is great, and he's a really nice guy. I've had spoken with him one-on-one a couple of times. Real nice man. Loves his country, the real deal, and we should have more like him. Matthew Hoffman says, my tow hitch has and will hurt more people than any of my guns or any of my friends. Exactly. It's the anti-gunners are out of their minds. Gail Cochran says, so the failure of Benghazi was Trey Gowdy and Jason Chaffetz and others. No, failure in Benghazi proper. Well, that's on Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama. The failure to hold them accountable is on John Boehner and Paul Ryan and Gowdy and Chaffetz and all of the other Republican congressional leadership. Because there is no conservatism there. There is none. Let's see. Well, none of these comments are making sense. John Zealand says, the second most hated person by the alt-left after Trump is Devin Nunes. Do I agree? He's up there. He's up there. He certainly is. I think they, Devin Nunes. I think they're not loving Jim Jordan. They went after him with that dumb scandal. According to Freedom Watch's founder, Larry Klayman, a citizens' grand jury could be formed by the people and citizens of all those involved in Clinton mess. I know Larry very well. I speak to him all the time. Fundamentally, he's right. Practically, it can't be done. And I like Larry very much. So yes, legally, can it be done? Constitutionally, it can. Will it ever happen? No. Turbo Jones says NSA says American power grid will be hacked, not if, but when. Yeah, and I don't think we do enough to protect it. And there are some there are some very smart people who tend to agree. It's really one of our critical failure points, and we need to get better and smarter about it. Steve Rosen says a shift. Republicans are JFK Democrats and Democrats are the National Socialists. Pretty much. I mean, I think even the establishment Republicans are left of JFK Democrats and conservative Republicans are right of it. But the left is, like we were talking about before, we used to have the center here, right? But now the left for the center is over here and the left and the center for the left over here, center for the right is over here. We don't have a center anymore. We just don't have it. We don't have common ground in that center anymore. And I don't think we will. I don't think we're going to see that in many, many years. For many, many years. I just unfortunately don't. Cromwell says, with all the nasty rhetoric from people like Maxine Waters, Trump's 2028 campaign will be a landslide. Well, he's not running in 2018. 2018 is the midterms. You mean 2020, but yes. Glenn Ward, what is the best cure for Trump derangement syndrome? They could always move to Canada. You don't want him. How about moving to Mexico? Let him move to Mexico. Jumbo Leader says, do I partake in vaping? No. Nope. Not a vape guy. I smoke cigars every now and again, but never been into this vape trend. Don't really understand it. Don't enjoy it. Not my thing. Jeff Jones says, you all beat our British asses in 1776 and deserve the win. Yeah, but you guys have been some pretty damn good allies since then in world wars and this war on terror. So I think it all worked out well in the end. Peter Carr is going to walk the dog. Good for you, Peter. I have 3. I walked them at 5:45 in the morning. I watch a lot of C-SPAN. Cuckoo69 says, Judicial Watch updates with Tom Fitton and Larry Klayman's Freedom Watch. All very good sources. Good sources. Will Obama see Gitmo? No. President of the United States, former President of the United States is not going to Guantanamo Bay. It's just not happening. If nobody wants immigration from S-hole countries, Alistair Williams asks, how has it been happening? Why do our governments not represent our people's best interest? Well, that is the question. Gabrielle Tobing asks, what is Gitmo? It's the nickname for Guantanamo Bay. Guantanamo Bay naval base in Cuba, where we hold and interrogate terrorists. What should Congress do to protect Christians in their homelands? Well, not much the U.S. Congress can do to protect Christians in other places. Here in the U.S., they've got to make sure religious liberties are legislatively protected. Just like Saddam Hussein, Hillary Clinton should be made to appear before The Hague. Yeah, that's never going to happen. Never going to happen, unfortunately. Well, guys, it has been absolutely awesome. Awesome. And I will be back with you guys here tomorrow morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. You're not going to want to miss it. We're going to see what's hot happening overnight, what's trending. Going to bring it to you in the morning. You guys have an amazing day. I'll see you all tomorrow.